Hey, Utah Mammoth fans, tusks up, and welcome into another episode of Utah Mammoth Daily. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you're having a fun Black Friday. Hopefully, you aren't working in retail, but if you are, I worked in retail for almost a decade. I feel you. I'm with you. So, here in honor of the day and the spirit of the day, let's make a wish list of players that could upgrade the Mammoth immediately and maybe even have a little bit of a couple of extra seasons beyond in production. So not just like rentals till the end of the year, something that Utah could, someone that Utah could potentially keep and extend and make the team better. Because as we saw against the Canadiens, Utah has a lot of areas to improve. A lot. They are very, very good in specific aspects of the game, and youth is playing a very big role in this. Obviously, they get too high, they get too low. And when adversity hits, their mental isn't exactly where you want it to be. Even with the veteran additions, the young guys still get too low. So mixing things up a little bit here for this wish list. So for me personally, somebody in the circle. Just give me somebody who wins over half of their faceoffs. Because it feels like for Utah, it's Kevin Stenlund and then nobody else. And Kevin Stenlund, love his toughness, love the player, love the person. He's a fourth-line center on this team. He cannot be out there in, extra skater situations. He cannot be the second power play guy. It can't be. It just can't be for a team that wants to make the playoffs. So that's an upgrade that needs to happen. Is a center that can be on those top lines and be a threat to score at all times. So that's one, and then a scoring defenseman outside of Sergachev and Schmidt. Nobody on the defense scores. Nobody. I know D. Simone's has scored a couple of goals, but other than Schmidt and Sergey, nobody's really doing anything. John Marino has been a massive disappointment for me. A massive disappointment for me, especially like last night against the Canadiens. Every time a goal went in, you could see, oh, look, there's John Marino. It feels like he's always turning over the puck in the D zone. And so he's been a massive disappointment for me. And Sean Durzi, I love him. He seems to be made of porcelain, so you can't really rely on him for a full season. So just a scoring defenseman to help take the responsibility off of Mikhail Sergachev a little bit here. And then, obviously, the last one I have over on the right side of your screen is a goalie upgrade. That one is definitely a wish list. Wish. I don't think anyone on that list is going to be available for trade. But who knows what happens when an owner of a club says, we're tearing it down to the nubs. Let's go. So we'll see what happens there. But join me on this journey, won't you? So first off, improved center. Ryan O'Reilly is the dream fit. He really is. He wins most of his faceoffs, almost 60% of them. He is very reliable going to and crashing the net as well as getting back on defense. He is that veteran presence that Bill Armstrong wants to have to help cultivate the young core. He still has some time left on his contract. And Utah is a preferred destination for a lot of guys out there because of the future, because of the young guys being locked up. They know that the ownership is wanting to go for it soon. The facilities, the money that's being spent on the team, and the players are being lavished with everything they need and want. I would think Ryan O'Reilly would accept a trade to Utah. I really do. And Nashville has said they're not tearing it down, but they've also said when it comes to trading some of their veterans, they're going to treat them with a full no-trade clause. Ryan O'Reilly's no-trade clause has fallen off, and we'll see what happens there. But he's definitely a dream get for me. Mika Zibanejad has always been a dream get for me for my favorite teams since he's been in the league. I love the Swede. I love his game. I love everything he does. I love his attitude and his flowing black locks. I just want him on the team. I do. His faceoffs aren't stellar. They're about Kevin Stenlund area, but just overall, he's just such a good player and he's fun to watch. And I just want him. I mean, there's not really any stat that backs up what I'm saying, but I just want him. He's just that player that you want. Everybody has that guy on another team that you want. For me, it's Zibanejad. And then Braden Shen, St. Louis and Utah, the front offices have a history I really do foresee a trade happening between these two clubs, especially if Utah remains middling and they just need a jolt and St. Louis's season continues to go down. I could see something happening there. So why not Braden Shen? I mean, Jordan Kyrou, the price would be too high for Bill Armstrong to go after. But as you'll see in this next one, there's a couple of guys I think can be pried from St. Louis for the right price, and I think Utah has that right price. Whether it's like Nick Schmaltz, and maybe another guy, and you know Nick Schmaltz basically because his production has fallen off a cliff, and also it's an expiring contract. And so for a team like St. Louis, they would want that expiring contract plus some draft capital for a player like Braden Shen. Utah's got that in spades, and maybe even a prospect. So I think that's possible as well. So those are my three main centers that I want Utah to target here. I think each one is attainable in their own right because the Rangers season is not going the way they wanted it to. Everybody loves a hockey trade, so we'll see what happens with these guys, but they're definitely tops of my wish list of even pseudo-attainable centers. Now let's move to a scoring defenseman, and yes, you see that name right there in the middle, Rasmus Andersson. I've talked myself blue in the face about him. He would be perfect for Utah, and Utah has the money to be able to sign him to like a 2 to 3 to 4 year contract, depending on what him and his camp wants. But let's talk about the other two on there. Justin Falk from St. Louis. He's the other guy from St. Louis that I think could be pried for the right price. Or Philip Hronek. So those are the guys from Vancouver. Vancouver has said that they are open to trading veterans. I don't know if Hronek fits the bill of a veteran. He's only 28, so he's about the same age as Clayton Keller. And we all know that Utah would never trade a player like Clayton Keller, but he's in that same age group, and he is a pretty good producer. He's a +6 and ± this year. He's 15 points in 24 games. I think he fits the bill. I do. He's a big dude. He's listed at 6', 190. He plays bigger than that. And so I think he would fit very well with this team. And he's potentially attainable from a Vancouver team that is willing to move veterans. It just, does he fit the bill? And then Justin Falk, he's played in St. Louis since 2019. I love his game too. He's a lot like Zibanejad. He's just one of those guys where I want him on my team. He's a guy that will stand out for his teammates. He will step up in key situations, and he's just going to be there for everybody. So 13 points in 24 games played, which actually isn't bad when you consider St. Louis' season this year, and definitely somebody that I think could fit the bill because he is 33, so that does qualify as veteran status, and the Blues season is going nowhere. I don't foresee them repeating their feat of last year just because where are the goals going to come from for that team? So I think definitely Justin Falk could be pried, maybe even both of them in the same trade, and it would be some massive blockbuster. But definitely those two guys, and yeah, Rasmus Andersson, scoring defenseman, fits perfectly with the Utah Mammoth, especially when they have defensive-minded guys all along the blue line that they could match him with. I just think I think it's a match made in heaven. It's just a matter of the price that Calgary's asking for Rasmus Andersson. So those are the defensemen that I have on my wish list. And now lastly, let's go to the goalies that I would like. Dustin Wolf and UC Saros on both are on teams that are absolutely going nowhere. Nashville, Barry Trotz has said, I'm not blowing this up. I think the owner might step in and say, no, you're blowing this up, or we're going to find somebody who will. And when it comes to Calgary, their GM is kind of in the same boat as Barry Trotz of Nashville. He's also said, we're not blowing this up. We're going to be trying here. We're not calling it in yet. But look at the standings. Look at who you're behind. And do you really think you have enough in the tank to be able to not only catch up to these teams, but surpass them to get into the playoffs? I don't think Nashville or Calgary do. And neither team is particularly deep when it comes to their prospect pool. So I'm thinking both teams are primed for a trade. Why not with these goalies, right? Dustin Wolf and UC Saros are both relatively young. Dustin Wolf is definitely young. He just signed an extension with Calgary. So do I think he'll be traded? Nah. Same thing with UC Saros over in Nashville. just signed an extension this past offseason, wants to stay in Nashville, but everybody has a price. I just don't know if Bill Armstrong is willing to pay that price. But Utah does have Vitek Vanacek, who is on an expiring deal. Get that contract off the books. They could start fresh, both teams, and they could do their rebuild from the nubs up. So there are ways you could talk yourself into these trades being realistic, as I just did. Do I actually think any of these trades with these goalies will happen? Absolutely not. I don't see that. Do I think it'd be fun? Oh, yeah. It'd be a lot of fun. And then with the rest of these guys, the only other one that I don't think is going to happen would probably be Braden Shen. Actually, no, it'd be Mika Zibanejad. I don't see New York moving on from him at all unless Mika goes to the front office and says, I want out. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my wish list for this Black Friday. If you like the list, if you hate the list, or anything in between, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on Monday. Happy Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday. Tusks up.